So, with communication competence, this is all about communicating in ways that are actually effective and appropriate for the given situation. We are always communicating, even if we aren't aware of it. Um, with someone that might be nervous, you might be sweating in a way you are communicating that you're nervous, or um, perhaps, I mean, me talking with my hands all the time is probably indicative that I have ADHD and I can't sit still. So I'm, constantly having to move around. And these are all things that are very subliminal under the surface that most people probably wouldn't necessarily pick up. But depending on the situation, we might change our communication practices slightly to better suit our audience. If one of you is like, Emma, it is driving me insane how much you talk with your hands. I promise I will do my best to just, tone it down a little bit. So, we have to adapt. We have to be flexible in how we approach communication settings for them to be successful. So, some of the key characteristics of communication competence are the effectiveness. Did you actually achieve your goal? Which is always related to that relationship piece. Did the message, send? Was it received? Did they understand what you meant? And then appropriateness. Um, Depending on what context you're in, there may be you may want to cover up more. You may want to um talk quieter, or you may organize your speech differently just depending on what culture you're giving the speech to, what age. If I'm giving a speech to preschoolers, I'm probably not going to stand up in front of them all because that might be scary and intimidating. I might Let's sit in a circle and talk about this. So there's a lot of things that are different just based on that context. The adaptability we already talked about, it's important to be flexible. And then I think at the base of a lot of successful communications is empathy, which is trying your absolute best to understand someone else's perspective. And um, I actually realized very recently that there's a difference between compassion and empathy. So, although it says empathy on the screen, I would say perhaps compassion. If you are the type of person that um, is very impacted by other people's emotions, you are an empath. And sometimes that can actually be really hard on you cognitively and emotionally. With compassion, that is understanding someone else's emotions and understanding their experience to the best of your ability, because obviously we can't fully understand each other's experiences. And then seeing it, but not taking it home with you. Um, this is really important in professions. Like if you were a therapist, you would want to be compassionate, but perhaps not so empathetic that you're carrying everyone else's, negative emotions and situations that you hear all day. And then lastly, self awareness. I think it's really important to constantly reflect and recognize how you impact other people, because every communication that we have with other people as we go throughout our days, we have the ability to impact other people. And that's really powerful, but it's also a big responsibility. We want to do good in the world. We want to leave, communication settings in a way that we have this shared message. We both feel understood and seen and heard. So that's all really important.